What are the biggest chemical disasters of all time? Hi guys. Man is the main cause for all the destruction/disasters either one way or another. We have to protect the nature and give back to our next future generations, but as humans we are so greedy and doesn't think about the next generation's future. Whatever we have we just use it more than our need for the sake of money. Man-made disasters are causes by careless, not taking precautions, etc. Some of the man-made disasters are done by knowingly, some of them are not. Here I'm listing only very few of the man-made disaster. Bhopal Disaster. On the night of December 2nd, 1984, the Union Carbide pesticide plant in Bhopal, India began to leak methyl isocyanate gas and other poisonous toxins into the atmosphere. Over 500,000 were exposed, and there were up to 15,000 deaths at that time. In addition, more than 20,000 people have died since the accident from gas-related diseases. 2. Chernobyl Disaster. On April 26, 1986, the Chernobyl plant in the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic had a major meltdown which resulted in the atmospheric release of radioactive material 400 times more radioactive than Hiroshima. Since the accident there have been countless children with birth defects, a sickening increase of cancer sufferers and many other health issues as well. It is estimated that the disaster could result in nearly 100,000 fatal cancers, and the area won't be safe for any activity, including farming, for up to 200 years. 3. Deepwater Horizon oil spill. Considered the worst oil spill in history. On April the 20th, 2010, the Deepwater Horizon oil rig exploded and sank in the sea. This left the drill hole completely open and petrol began to blow out directly into the waters, much like a gun wound in the chest. It ultimately discharged 780,000 cubic meters of oil in the Gulf of Mexico, while claimed 7 lives. The US managed to cap it 87 days later, as it was even considered to use nuclear blasts to seal the well. I guess a huge oil leak was not enough press material, as naturally they wanted to make the evening newscast. The spill threatened 8,332 marine species, some of which already endangered and under federal protection. In the following years and ongoing, scientists continue to pile up reports of the catastrophic effects. From mutated fish to closed beaches, from washed petrol ashore, more and more damage just keeps surfacing. The oil is now soaked up in the environment and food and water resources. It's described as the biggest health crisis in the US. 4. Kuwait Oil Fire. The Gulf War oil spill is the largest oil spill in history, making it one of the 10 worst man-made disasters of all time. In 1991, following the invasion of Kuwait, Hussein sent men in to blow up the Kuwait oil wells. They managed to set over 600 ablaze and these burned for over 7 months. The oil spill that resulted from the fires caused considerable environmental damage. Some of the photos taken by NASA from space. 5. The destruction of the Aral Sea. The Aral Sea was one of the 4 largest lakes at one point in time. However, in the 1960s, the Soviet Union diverted the waters from the rivers that fed the lake to irrigation projects. The sea has now shrunk by 90% and the salt and sandstorms that the devastation created kill plant life and have negative consequences for hundreds of miles around. 6. The Exxon Valdez oil spill. On March 24, 1989, the American oil tanker the Exxon Valdez collided with the Baia Reef. This created an oil spill with far-reaching consequences in the Prince William Sound in Alaska. Over 11 million gallons of oil spilled over nearly 500 miles, polluting the coastline. Over 250,000 birds were killed, and countless other wildlife. Over 11,000 people aided in the cleanup process. 7. Daughter Hell. In Derwiz, Turkmenistan, a drilling rig made by Soviet geologists in 1971 gave way to a large hole measuring 70 meters in diameter, exposing a large methane gas reservoir. Fearing the environmental impact due to the substantial methane gas release, the geologists decided to burn it off. Unfortunately, the gas is still burning today. 8. The Palomares Incident, the crash of the B-52G bomber of the USAF Strategic Air Command on January 17, 1966 led to the plutonium contamination of Palomares, a small village in the municipality of Cubas del Almanzora, Almeria, Spain. The jet-powered strategic bomber carried non-nuclear explosives that detonated, causing political conflict between the US and Spain 40 years later. Traces of the blasts are still evident. 9. Amoco Cadiz, a huge crude carrier bearing the flag of Liberia, split into 3 parts and sank, releasing 1,604,500 barrels, 219,797 tons of light crude oil and 4,000 tons of fuel oil, making it the largest oil spill of its kind at that time, and resulted in the largest loss of marine life ever recorded from an oil spill. 10. The Al-Mishraq Fire. Al-Mishraq is a state-run sulfur plant near Mosul, Iraq, which in June 2003 was the site of the largest human-made release of sulfur dioxide ever recorded. A fire thought to have been deliberately started burned for almost a month, spewing 21,000 tons of sulfur dioxide a day into the atmosphere. 11. The Love Canal. In the 1940s, a strange smell enveloped the area around the Love Canal near Niagara Falls. Residents also began to notice an odd seepage leaking into their yards, and people began to fall ill. In addition, many women began to have miscarriages and give birth to babies with birth defects. Upon inspection, it was discovered that there was over 21,000 tons of toxic industrial waste buried below the surface of the town by a local company. 12. Minamata disease. Japan. Considered one of the 4 major pollution diseases in the history of Japan, Minamata is caused by severe mercury poisoning that attacks the nervous system. In 1956, Chiso Corporation's industrial wastewater containing methyl mercury was released into Minamata Bay in the Chernobyl Sea. 2,265 fatalities are recognized as a direct consequence to this polluting event. 13. Baia Mare cyanide spill. Russia. After the Chernobyl incident in Russia, this cyanide spill in Baia Mare, Romania is aptly called the worst environmental disaster in Europe. On January 30, 2000, 100,000 cubic meters of cyanide contaminated water leaked out from a dam, spewing out 100 tons of cyanide. An incredible amount of fish and aquatic plants were killed, and up to 100 people were hospitalized after eating contaminated fish. 14. Oppau explosion. Germany. On September 21, 1921, a tower silo storing 4,500 tons of an ammonium sulfate/ammonium nitrate fertilizer mixture exploded at the BASF plant in Oppau, now part of Ludwigshafen, Germany. Death toll estimates vary, but between 500 and 600 people were killed and 2,000 injured. 15. Tianjin explosion. China. On the 12th of August 2015, a series of explosions killed 173 people and injured hundreds of others at a container storage station at the port of Tianjin. The first 2 explosions occurred within 30 seconds of each other at the facility, which is located in the Binhainu area of Tianjin, China. The second explosion was far larger and involved the detonation of about 800 tons of ammonium nitrate. Fires caused by the initial explosions continued to burn uncontrolled throughout the weekend, resulting in 8 additional explosions on August. The above are only few man-made disasters. Nowadays, some of the natural disasters are also caused due to the man-made things. After few years, Earth will be like dump yard. Present, most of the major cities are facing major pollution, and people live in the cities are facing the higher level health issues.